Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we listen to all of their records from their first record to their last record, and we rank them from worst to best, give our biggest banger from each of them, possibly a stinker, I don't know. But before we do that, we get into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge, and that's where we connect our boy Tom DeLonge to the band of the week. And this week we are doing Death by Stereo. We're doing their 7 records, and yeah, it should be a good time. Death by Stereo. We're also in the middle of Orange County season right now, where we're only doing bands from the county of Orange here in California. Last week we did The Offspring. This week Death by Stereo, and next week we are rounding it out with a classic band from this area. So stay tuned for that. So if you didn't already know, my name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars and 5 stars only. All the social media is at Asinine Radio, so go check it out. Follow us, tell all your friends. And with all that done, all that boring intro done and over with, let's get into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. If you have any, I have 3.
Oh dang, I have 1. I mean, this is
easy.
It was really easy, and so I'll just do mine. Jared Alexander, the drummer, he touring drummer for Alkaline Trio, Skeebs to Tom, but it's interesting that 2 of these guys, Ian Foles, OG member of Death by Stereo, and Jared Alexander,
guitarist, yeah,
early drummer, both met again later on Gerard Way's first solo album.
Yes.
The hell? How weird.
Super weird. Yeah.
What the fuck? Out of all the musicians, right?
Well, Jared was also he's the current drummer for My Chemical Romance, and he joined the band right before they went on hiatus, like in 2013 or 2014. And then when they regrouped, they brought him back into the band to play drums. So but the Ian Fowles one is a little weird too, especially considering they're from the East Coast. Like, it just seems I don't know. It just seems odd.
It's very odd. It's bizarre. I don't know. I thought that was cool. Yeah. That was funny. That was fun.
Yeah. So one of my 6 degrees is Jared Alexander to Matt Skiba, but Matt Skiba and the Secrets. So he actually played in Matt Skiba and the Secrets as well. So that was my connection. Skiba to Blink to Tom. Another 6 degree of Tom DeLonge for me. We start with Rob Aston. He was a background vocalist on the Death by Stereo record Into the Valley of the Death. Rob Aston is one of the vocalists in Transplants. Transplants has Travis Barker to Boxcar Racer to Tom. So there you go. And then the last one is Ephraim Schultz, the singer from Death by Stereo. He was a guest vocalist on one of the songs off of Atreyu's first record, Suicide Notes and Butt Kisses. And we've talked about it a lot on the podcast. John Feldman has produced 3 of Atreyu's records. John Feldman to Blink to Tom.
There you go. Look at that.
6 degrees of Tom DeLonge.
Look at that,
dude. Well, okay, so let's move on. Death by Stereo, 7 records. We're gonna rank all 7 of their records, and also give our biggest banger from each of them. Talk about them a little bit. So let's get into it. What do you got for number 7, Jeff? Go. Worst record. Go.
It was still fine. But Death Is My Only Friend, the 5th album, it was fine. This is a record after listening, I was like, I don't even know what the fuck I listened to here. And I did space these out because early on I figured they were going to end up here, and they did. There's a lot of singing on this album, and he's not a good singer. And this type of singing, I can't fucking stand anyway. It's that kind of metalcore-y singing. Hate it, and he's not good at it. And they do a lot of it here. And the band really doesn't do anything else on this album. And they don't do slow songs very well. And so that's why
I would agree.
That's why this is so low. I don't have a banger from this one. This is their worst one for me, like easy. Everything else after this, at least like I enjoyed parts of it.
Okay, fair. That's fair. So my number 7 is also Death Is My Only Friend. I don't think it's a necessarily bad record. I get what you're saying. That kind of singing I don't feel is Ephraim's strong point. He does have, I mean, he's a rad vocalist and he's so unique. Nobody sounds like Ephraim in any way. The way he screams, the way he does his like little spoken word stuff, the singing, nobody sounds like Ephraim. But here, yeah, it's just, I think they were just trying to go for more of like a radio friendly sound. On this one, they signed to Surgical Records, which is Serj Tankian from System of a Down. That was his record label at the time. From what I've heard through the grapevine, they recorded this record. It was shelved for a while because there were issues with Serj and certain things happening in the world. So they got kind of thrown on the back burner. And this record took forever to get released because of that. And the promotion of it, marketing of it just got completely kind of trashed, which sucks for them, really. But yeah, so Death Is My Only Friend is my number 7. My banger is the opener, Opening Destruction. I mean, that song it does hit pretty fucking hard. Also, this record produced by Jason Freeze, your boy Jason Freeze, you know,
Hey.
Josh Freeze's brother. Also, Jared Alexander, the drummer from the first record, came back and played drums on this record, but it doesn't really click like it does on the first record. Good stuff though, great performance. Great performance still. Yeah, so it was cool though. Jared Alexander coming back after fucking 10 years for this record. So yeah, Death Is My Only Friend is my number 7. Okay. Not a bad record, but I mean, I rarely ever go back to this one.
I would never go back to this.
When it came out, man, I listened to this record like crazy, but also I fucking love Death by Stereo. So when any of the records were coming out, I would just listen to them constantly. But so what do you got for number 6?
Into the Valley of Death, their third record from 2003. And there wasn't like anything inherently wrong with this, but I do think this is kind of filler for them at this point. This is just kind of middle of the road sounding. They're not expanding on anything that they hadn't already done in the previous 2 records, and they're not really doing anything new that we'll hear on the next 2 records. So it's just kind of like riding the fence. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. It's good. I would probably never go back to this because they do this sound better before and they kind of go in a different direction afterwards that I like more. But this is still fine. There's nothing wrong with this. Good Morning America. That song was fucking dope. I love the back and forth vocals thing that they do. I think it's super hectic. Yeah. It's frantic and it's cool. They do that sound very well. And I like it.
Yeah, some of their back and forth stuff is really, really solid. But yeah, number 6 for me is also Into the Valley of Death. Damn. This one dropped a lot more than I was expecting. I did my preliminary rankings with this band, and this is much higher. And after listening to, I actually listened to all their records at least twice. And this one just dropped a lot. Not to say it's bad, because I really do love this record, and there are some absolute bangers on this one. But it's definitely a transition record for them. I feel like they decided to go, I don't want to say like a more poppy route, but definitely more melodic than Day of the Death and If Looks Could Kill. And they just, I don't want to say they didn't nail it, but it's just, there's something missing and I don't know what it is. I still love this record. Some great guitar playing from Dan, some great back and forth screaming, some great back and forth vocals in general. Like my favorite song on this one is These Are a Few of My Favorite Things. It's chaos during that bridge. I fucking love the screams. They're so fucking intense. And then it just drops right back into the chorus. It's a really, really good song. And overall, it's a really good record. I specifically remember when this record dropped, I immediately went out and bought it on CD, and I listened to the hell out of this record too. So Into the Valley of Death is my number 6. Great album. I would get it on vinyl. Really, the only one I wouldn't get on vinyl is Death Is My Only Friend. Unless it was like really, really cheap, but I rarely ever go back to it in general. But yeah, I would for sure get into the Valley of Death.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
So what do you got for number 5?
Those are words. Sure.
Those are words, dude.
We're all dying just in time.
Okay.
Their newest record, 2000, what was this, 20?
2020.
20? Yeah, 2020. This was fun because they've done this before, where they've incorporated a lot of different genres into their music, a lot of pop elements, but never gone full pop. Some pop punk stuff, some kind of weird bass lines that are like reminiscent of like EDM and dance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it here, and this was just a fun, goofy record, and they didn't take themselves seriously. And I enjoyed this a lot. I think this is a great record, but it's kind of like there's not a lot of substance there for me. This is just a bunch of guys doing what they do best, having a good time, having fun. I'm having fun, but like, do I really want to keep this? And I did have this on the vinyls, and I purged it.
Oh no, I got this one for you too. I got this one at Program. Huge shout out to Program.
I know. Again,
Ephraim,
Death by Stereo.
Ephraim owns the story
at the Death by Stereo record store.
I know.
I think this album is
Fullerton.
good. I think just off base, I would give this, if not a 2, I would give it like a high 1 point something. It is good. It is a good record. It's a culmination of everything they've done. There's still like hardcore punk here. There's a little bit of metalcore, but there's also the kind of like those fun, quirky, goofy tracks that they like. Hey, fuck it, let's do this genre now because we want to. I just don't. I don't know. Replayability, it's low. It's low.
Okay. All right. My dang. Okay. So anybody listening, when we mention, records 1.9 or whatever, that's not out of 10. So we have our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So keep that in mind. So my number 5 is also We're All Dying Just in Time.
Damn, girl, what's going on?
This doesn't happen often, where our rankings are almost identical so far, or they are identical so far. So yeah, We're All Dying Just in Time, 2020 latest record. I think this is a really, really solid record. Really cool vinyl variant that I have for this one. Picked this one up from Program. Huge shout out, Fullerton, California. Check them out if you're in the area. Great guys. Yeah, like you said, this just sounds like they're having a lot of fun. Just guys getting into a room, writing songs, not taking themselves too seriously. Not that I feel like they really ever did. Lyrically, I think Ephraim does, but musically, it's just like we just like a lot of different kinds of things: thrash, punk, hardcore. It's just so they just kind of throw it all in here, and that's what this is. Like, this is just, I feel like this record is a perfect combination of everything that they had done. Like, the perfect combination of it all. And just, I don't want to say nothing's bad about this record. It's just a good, solid fucking record. I would for sure give this a 2. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're All Dying Just in Time.
It really is a good record. There's nothing wrong with this record. And again, like, this is everything they've done to the max. Whenever they've done like kind of like instrumental parts that are a little bit softer, they did it here and then just like double down on it. It's a good, solid record.
It is. Yep. So what do you got for number 4?
Here's where you're probably going to differ a little bit. You probably had this one a little bit higher, but Day of the Death, that's my 4th.
Okay.
This is we're getting into the spots here where I pretty much buy these on the vinyls now. Anything here. Their second album, 2001. What kind of made this one different for me was the variety of songs already compared to their first album. This is very similar overall to If Looks Could Kill, but they had some softer instrumental bridges and interludes here that showed a little more diverse songwriting. Like, they're not just a bunch of like OC punkers, but they do listen to a lot of other types of music. And it was kind of fun because I went through one to the end, and then this is the one that I thought like, oh damn, like this is the beginning of them kind of expanding their musical genres. But then like going back and listening to the album of the week, I was like, nope, it's there. It's just buried under like a lot of aggression. But that's why the number one's number one. So
yeah.
But like also Ephraim, he actually tries to sing on this one, but it's not full on singing like he was doing on Death Is My Only Friend. It's still kind of like punker singing. So he's screaming and he's growling. So it's a lot of fun. He's not taking himself seriously. So it works. Everything comes together and it sounds exactly like what you hope this scene, this genre to sound. Obviously, Holding $60 is going to be like the easiest banger. That's
such a good
the
song.
most like that's probably, I mean, for me, that's for sure the most nostalgic song for this band. But you mess with one bean, you mess with the whole burrito. That's a pretty
another good
goddamn
one.
close second right there. He's all in with his singing on this one, but he also screams. And the song goes
Some
from fast
amazing
to slow to
scream on
chuggy to hardcore punk. Dude, it's fucking wild. That is a
Yeah.
beyond banger of a song.
For sure. That's my second favorite song on the record. I love that song. Damn, Day of the Death is so good. But I get what you're saying on that. You know, it's definitely the transition record, and really, If Looks Could Kill is their album that just nothing sounds like it. It's so fucking different. But okay, so that was your number 4, Day of the Death. My number 4 is Black Sheep of the American Dream, 6th album from 2012. This one's just like a good, aggressive, guitar-driven, guitar solo record. Like it doesn't really let up. There's melodic vocals on here, but nothing is, I guess, overly melodic. There's not big choruses really. It's just a punch you in the face record. I really like this record. I don't have it on vinyl, but I would love to have it on vinyl. And I do remember seeing it at Program a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, okay, it's F. Ramone's store or Cohen's the store. It's like, it's probably always going to be here. And then after like a couple months, it was gone, and I was just like, oh fuck, I missed my opportunity. But no, I do really love Black Sheep, and just the guitar playing. Dan shines on this one. Dan Palmer absolutely shines on this record, rips it up. I think he's a truly underrated guitar player within the scene, the OC scene. Like everybody always talks about, fucking your boy Sinister Gates. I mean, everybody talks about him from the scene because he really is an incredible guitar player. But I think Dan, technically speaking, I think Dan is a better guitar player than your boy.
Why do you call my boy first? I can't.
Because you love Sinister
I
Gates.
can't stand. I didn't want to say his fucking name because it's so stupid. But no, there's.
I mainly just say it because it makes you so mad.
God, he's so obnoxious. The whole band is so obnoxious. No, Dan's fine, but there are 2 other people on their album of the week at least that for me just completely outshine everybody else.
Well, also Dan doesn't play on the first record.
But he's not. I mean, he's not better
He
than
joined-
Sinister Gates.
I don't know, man. I think technically speaking, he's better than Sinister. Sinister does have some better. God, I hate saying that too. But your boy does have some better guitar solos. But overall, I think Dan's a better guitar player. I really, really do. But anyway, getting away from that.
Maybe.
And and we've talked about how much we love the new Avenged record because it's fucking amazing. It's the album of the year. The new Avenged Sevenfold record.
And your boy had a big hand in writing the entire thing.
Who, Brooks Wackerman?
No, Sinister was too wise.
No, Sinister is your boy. Brooks is my boy. Anyway, God, this is just off the rails. But Black Sheep.
Sinister is too wise. It's so fucking annoying.
No, is it really?
Yeah, Sinister, too wise. SY and Sinister.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant it was like SYY or SINYY.
No,
I don't know
too
why I
wise.
thought that.
Oh, it's so
Instead of the
annoying.
yeah. So Black Sheep of the American Dream. Check it out. Good stuff. What do you got for number 3?
Black Sheep of the American Dream.
There we go.
So like, this reminded me of Rancid, but like Rancid's 5 in 2 ways.
Mm-hmm.
One, like the cover art is identical. It's a skull with the 2 X's on it, but it's also like a reigniting of the band, like a back to form type of thing, right? When bands do like a self-titled album, like again later on, or if they ever do, it's kind of like a back to basics thing. Like here, we're going to be resetting, we're starting over. This is who we want to be now, and this is it. Coming off of Death for Life, and then their worst album, Death Is My Only Friend. it was kind of like, oh fuck, man, where's this band gonna go next? I was not looking forward to it, but this drops in hard. This drops in hard, and this is straightforward punk. This is the most straightforward punk album they've had since their first album. And then definitely
for sure.
this spoken word thing that he liked to do like all the time, but now it's like in the front, and he's not kind of like hiding behind, and not that he was hiding behind, but he's not hiding behind like the instrumentals. It's just now it's him. He's doing it. And there's parts of it where it's just him alone, and it's kind of like, oh wow, you've really gained confidence. So it's almost like they're redoing If Looks Could Kill, but like in an older,
but modernizing
wiser format, right?
Exactly, because it's like Dan is a big part of that. I mean, his not to say Jim Miner is a bad guitar player, because he was a great guitar player, and we'll talk about it on the album of the week. But Dan is just more technically proficient, and it just sounds everything. All his lead guitar playing just sounds so seamless. Like it just sounds so like not lazy, but just kind of just smooth. He's just a smooth guitar player, and I don't know. I've so much respect for the guy. And you watch live videos of Dan, and he just makes it look so goddamn easy. He's always smiling. His big handlebar mustache. I mean, he's just jumping around like pop punk, jumping around the stage, and dude, he's a rad dude. I don't know if I ever met Dan. Met Ephraim a couple times, but yeah, just Dan just seems like such a chill guy, such a cool guy. But and also, you know, with Black Sheep, this record, their new drummer Mike Cambria, I believe that's his last name, Mike Cambria, is his first record with the band. He's been in the band ever since, and he puts down a solid, really good performance. He's a really good drummer. He's also plays drums with the Adolescents. He's been playing with the Adolescents for I think 10 years as well. But yeah, really solid drummer. They have a really good lineup at this point. I mean, with Dan, Ephraim, Mike on drums, and then I think the other rhythm guitar player is JP something. I don't forgot his last name. But yeah, no, it's just a solid lineup. Great record too.
Good.
Damn. So what's your banger off Black Sheep?
Oh, Depression Expression.
Oh, that was my runner up. My banger was What the Fuck Is Going On Around Here. I forgot to say that, by the way.
This was a great hardcore punk song. Also, like, I don't know who's doing the backup vocals, but that sounded just like Davey Havok. Like that was. I looked up 3 different places. But I didn't see that it was, but I also didn't see that it wasn't. But goddamn, it sounded just like him.
They're all kind of from the same scene.
But then, like, the biggest takeaway for this song and this album, and when I was listening, was this solo. This solo is fucking amazing. It's crazy fun.
Yeah.
It's silly, and it's purposely wanky in a way that it sounds like a kid who just learned how to solo, and he's trying to like show off, but it's still fun. It's not like pretentious. It's like he's just excited to do it. I loved it.
I get it. Yeah. Like I said, that's what it looks like when he's playing. He just looks like he's having the time of his life. And same with not only, well, actually, we'll get more into it on the main episode. I don't want to talk too much about their performances, but not yet at least. Okay. So that was your number 3, Black Sheep.
3.
My number 3 is Day of the Death, 2001, second record. This one, I mean, you touched upon it. You know, this is definitely a transition out from the craziness of If Looks Could Kill. It's definitely more melodic. They have a different drummer. Jared had left the band at this point. I forgot who played on here. Was it Jim Daly? Actually, I don't remember who played drums on this one. It's a great performance. Don't get me wrong. He fucking nails it. But it's just missing that just kind of craziness and complexity that Jared brought to the first record. But the songs are here. The melodies are here. Holding $60 Over a Burning Bridge. That is my favorite Death by Stereo song, hands down. That chorus is just, that back and forth chorus is just incredible. It's up there with the Vandals' Go, to me at least. That back and forth and go, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what this. Yeah, it's so perfectly on point. This is also the first record with Dan Palmer on guitar, and he's not as there's some solos, some cool leads on here. But he really doesn't start to church things up until Death for Life, where the metal starts to come in more. But I don't know. The performance on this record's great. I think the production on here sounds good. The drums sound solid. It has that early 2000s, late 90s kind of crack to the snare still. The guitars are just everything is really balanced really well in the mix. This is just a really good, solid fucking record. So Day of the Death is my my number 2, or is my number 3, and $60 Over a Burning Bridge is my banger. So what do you got for number 2?
All right, Death for Life, their 4th. This was this is like my really first dive into like Death by Stereo. Was this album? Binge Purge is my favorite Death by Stereo song. It's beyond perfect. It's an unreal song. But this album is very metal, but it's not like metalcore. It's very metal. It's you can tell these guys listen to Iron Maiden and they listen to like Slayer and they listen to these other bands that are just metal and decided to kind of forego the metalcore and just do straightforward metal mixed with punk. And it made for a very unique record, but I almost wanted to do this on the pod. The reason why I dropped it down from the album of the week is because there are a couple songs here that there's a little bit too much singing, and I don't want to hear him sing, and they do kind of get into that metalcore style of singing, and that's what's always turned me off of metal music is the singing. I've just never liked singing in general, I guess, really, but their hardest is on this album. They're the most aggressive and deep and chuggy and nasty on this album. Their low end is like fucking crazy low.
It's a lot of low end. It's a lot of low end on this. It's just this intense like sound where it's blowing your speakers out because it's so low. But they also keep the punk in. You know, there's fast songs. And even Binge Purge, my favorite song. It's 2.5 minutes long. And that has all of what I've just said. Like it has the low end. Yeah. It's got the fast parts. And those crystal, like those little crystal things right there on the guitar. Yeah.
That's DP, right? That's Mr. Palmer.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They're tight. It's fast. It's great. And I watched some live videos over the past week and like, my God, it's so good.
This band is so good.
This is a band that clicked, like finally like came together and said, you know what, let's just, I don't know. I like this album a lot. It's not their best, but I like this album a lot. It's a little bit more nostalgic for me than the one we're doing. I don't know. I like it. It's good. It's good.
It's great. My number 2 is also Death for Life. Absolutely love this record. It's definitely one of their, outside of If Looks Could Kill, this is the most unique sounding record. It is their heaviest record for sure. I wouldn't call it heavy metal. Like a lot of things I was reading were categorizing this as heavy metal, but it wasn't that. It's more. If you want to call it anything, it would be closer to thrash. And there's still a ton of hardcore on here, like you said, some metalcore stuff too. But really, thrash is the core here. And Dan Palmer, this is where he really began to shine, I feel. And with a song like Binge Purge, the quickness of his guitar playing, that back and forth guitar solo between him and I think not Tim Linton, who was the guitar player, Tim Owens, I think was the guitar player who played on this record with Dan, and that back and forth solo is so fucking cool. I love the solo in Binge Purge, and when you watch videos of this band when Dan was the only guitar player, because there were a few years where he was the only guitar player in the band from a live standpoint. And he would just play that solo himself. He'd play the back and forth himself, and it was just like, oh, dude, that solo is so fucking rad. It's catchy so too. Wonky. It's catchy and it's so wonky. It makes you want to play the air guitar.
Like you can, I know the melody to the solo. That's a very Avenged Sevenfold solo. Like there's a melody to it.
Yes, it's an incredible solo. That's my banger, as well as This Curse of Days. Even though it's a single, I don't give a fuck. I love Dan's lead guitar playing in this song, and I'm not just saying the solo, but his lead guitar playing is just it's subtle at points, it's flashy, it's just good. So this is like a really well written song. I think it's one of their. I think objectively, This Curse of Days is their best written song they've ever done. Like from like a pop, I don't want to say pop, but from like a mainstream rock to metal to punk to hardcore, this is the perfect song. And I think it's incredible, and it's a great solo. The melody is awesome. Ephraim kills it on the chorus. It's so fucking catchy. Oh man! And then when it drops into that solo too, it's just when Ephraim screams, "This curse of days, Brandon," and then it's just, dude, the way it drops into the solo it's so simple. It's so simple, but the writing is just perfection. And man, dude, I love Death for Life. I remember picking this when the CD came out. I remember getting this at Tower Records, and and then funnily enough, like shortly after this record came out, Ephraim came into Tower Records while I was working, and I was talking to him about it, and we were talking about this record and everything, and he was so fucking nice. Ephraim is such a cool dude. But I don't know, just so a lot of cool memories, nostalgia with this one too. So Death for Life is my number 2. And obviously our number 1 is If Looks Could Kill, I'd Watch You Die.
Yes, sir.
So that's the album of the week. So we're going to get into that. Go check it out. Tell all your friends. Keep listening. And that's it. That's all.
If so.